After weeks of struggles to distance himself from the scandal over the gruesome murder of Khashoggi, the Saudi crown prince embarked on an international tour to overshadow the scandal. He was the first leader to arrive in Buenos Aires to controversially attend the G20 summit. While Argentinian protesters were particularly focused on his visit, political observers were keen to see what would happen after Human Rights Watch's demand for his arrest over the war crimes in Yemen and the killing of Khashoggi. Inside the summit hall, the world leaders were not enthusiastic to face the Saudi poster boy. Some pretended not knowing him at all. Some preferred to walk past him. He was simply offered a few handshakes. The prince was publicly humiliated in front of the world's eyes. But all these were dwarfed in comparison to what happened during his Middle East and African tour prior to and after attending the G20 Argentina summit. Those nations taught a tough lesson to the Saudi crown prince. Bin Salman started his Middle East and North Africa tour from Egypt, followed by Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates. The so-called Saudi regime's brotherly countries had previously joined it in imposing a blockade on Riyadh's foe, Qatar. It was quite evident that MBS would not face any public opposition during his stay in Cairo, Abu Dhabi and Manama. Amman authorities also followed suit in a bid to quash any potential form of dissent during bin Salman's planned visit to Jordan. Announcement for the planned visit to Jordan sparked public anger among Jordanian citizens, and a broad spectrum of Jordanian activists, political parties and journalists formed groups against his visit. Although Khashoggi's murder overshadowed bin Salman's image among Jordanians, there is also general unhappiness about the Saudi position regarding the case of Palestine and Saudi pressure of Jordan in this regard. The Saudi regime postponed its crown prince's visit without elaborating on the reason behind it. Jordanians were not alone in rejecting MBS's visit to their country. He was also a persona non grata in Nouakchott. His visit sparked a hashtag storm in Mauritania, while petitions to the country's government requesting to sever ties with Saudi Arabia over crimes in Yemen were widely circulated. Unethical and politically inappropriate. This is how Algerian elites reacted to bin Salman's visit to their homeland. It was first the Algerian president who snubbed bin Salman upon his arrival in Algiers. Prime Minister Ahmadou Yahya received the prince at the airport while Algerians were showing their anger against bin Salman's visit. But that did not end there. Then it was Morocco's leader's turn to inflict another blow to bin Salman's already battered international prestige. Moroccan authorities reportedly refused to meet with Saudi Arabia's MBS. London-based Al-Quds Al-Arabi reported that Moroccan King Mohammed VI suggested Prince Mohammed meet with his brother because of his busy schedule. Rabat also postponed a meeting between the country's foreign ministers that was scheduled to take place within days. Relations between Rabat and Riyadh had already been cooled since Morocco backed Qatar when the Saudi-led alliance launched a blockade on the gas-rich emirate last year.
The MBS regional and international tour, which was designed to show he is, as the public face, is still the public face of Saudi Arabia and the de facto leader. The man is still in control and he is a confident ruler. The ones who designed this in a way to show and to paint him with all of that charisma, they forgot one major factor, that is, the king is still alive and the king in control, and the king is still safeguarding and protecting his own son, is Mohammed bin Salman. It's not the man who is going outside to Argentina or to Tunisia or that who have controlling and ruling. There is a real de facto ruler in the ground, is the king, who is trying to groom his son to become a king. But his son done so many mistakes, which is deny him now from that.
Bin Salman's international tour after Khashoggi's murder scandal was aimed at convincing the Saudis, specifically members of the Al Saud family, that he is still internationally accepted and therefore there is no need to find a replacement. But what really happened in Tunisia shattered such dreams.
It's for the first time ever in the Arab world to see the Arab masses protesting in the street in Tunisia, in Algeria and in Nouakchott, and refusing an Arab official to visit their country.
Tunisians took to the streets of the country's capital to express their anger at the visit. Unlike their government, Tunisians seized the opportunity to lash out at the Saudi regime, exposing a sharp disconnect between the leaders and people over the Saudi crown prince.
The government of Tunisia needed the money, and they got nearly as a prize for that 4 hours visit in Tunisia, $2 billion in discounted oil and weapons in exchange for such a visit.
Tunisia made world headlines in 2011 after longtime autocrat Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali was deposed, following mass demonstrations triggering a wave of uprisings across the Middle East that saw the departure of 3 other Arab presidents. But the deposed leader has been a fugitive in Saudi Arabia since 2011, and Riyadh has consistently ignored extradition requests from Tunis. Protesters also denounced the Saudi-led military campaign in Yemen, where a 4-year war has spawned the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Similar reactions took place when Ben Ali invited late Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon to Tunis in 2005.
They greeted him in Tunisia, in the street of Tunisia. There's a huge posters of Mohammed bin Salman wielding a saw covered in blood, and the protesters saying, "Go away, assassin," and stuff like that. So it was a very embarrassing situation for him to see what the streets, and especially in Tunisia and then in Algeria, when officially as well in Algeria wasn't welcome.